are. Wow. So I was saying that in the second part of the text that we are going to read today, Mooji says that this text is like a sword. Es como una espada. Because the aim of his words is to cut off the head of ego in us. So it is very beautiful because he says, yes, it is like a sword, but it is a loving sword. So let's take a look at it and let's read it. We will start from this last paragraph that in fact is a question that a student asked him. And so we are going to read the question, and what comes next is the answer of Mooji to this question. Okay, so Jose, do you want to start? Is the last paragraph. When it starts, Mooji, you speak about.
Okay. Mooji, you speak about not looking for the next experience, but I feel so much better after reading self-help books and participating in courses.
Stop a bit. Yes, in courses, very good. Do you remember what is the thing with the words that ends in an E and in an ES when they are plural? That what happens? When a word ends in E and is singular, you don't pronounce the E. So if it is this word that is plural, courses, it is singular, you say course. That's the same happens with sense, for example. You know that sense is a word that it is a lot used a lot here. When we talk about sense, we talk about los sentidos, o el sentido de algo, o la sensación, decimos sense. But if it is plural, we say senses. Here it happens the same. So let's repeat.
All sentences or...
But I feel so much better.
But I feel so much better after reading self-help books and participating in courses. Courses.
Very good.
I really, oh no, continue.
Yes, I
really do feel that I am growing and evolving spiritually towards the true you point to.
Okay. You remember that last part, what we read before has to do with to be not to look always for the next experience, the next things, that we are going, that we are always on the future. And we pay too much attention to our projections, and we have to be here and now. So what is the answer to this question? Let's go on. Pablo, do you want to go on?
Okay. Travel will come from your belief in this self that you aim to improve. This is
okay. A bit things.
Okay.
That you know that here it says travel will come from your belief in this self that you aim to improve. Please notice that here self is written with a, not with a capital letter. It is in a standard letter. So it refers to what? To our personal self, to our personality. Okay, let's go on.
Continue.
Yes.
Okay. This is strong for people because one of our most treasured beliefs in this life is in personhood.
Yes. Personhood. The self here, this self with a standard letter, it's a synonym of what? Of personhood. That we pay too much. The most treasured beliefs in this life. Our treasured. What is a treasured belief? A valuable belief. Something that we appreciate. That is very important to us. The most treasured belief that what we feel, what we believe most in our personal self, in our personhood. Okay. And what happens? Go on.
Satsang is the biggest threat for the person. In authentic spirituality, satsang is a sword. It is such a direct way to expose the unreality of this little person self.
Okay. Satsang is the biggest threat for the person. What is a threat? A menace. Something that's, yes, a threat. It is such a direct, the word direct, the American people pronounce it direct. And the British people say direct. So you can say both ways are good, okay, are correct. So, because another word that Mooji uses a lot is that what happened in satsang, that the ego is exposed. This is another way of saying the same. That the satsang is a threat for the person because it exposes the ego, our personal beliefs, our investments in person, he says. Okay. That's why he says in authentic spirituality, satsang is a sword, because it comes to cut off the ego. Okay. Let's go on.
It is such a direct way to expose the reality of the little person self. My words may at times seem brutal or even unkind because you actually think you are doing so well, but from my place of looking, you are actually drowning in delusion while dreaming you are close to freedom.
Wow. What a phrase. My words may at times seem brutal or even unkind. This is another form of, they have this form of forming the adjectives sometimes. Kind, the opposite is unkind. With the "an" at the beginning, the prefix, because you actually is in fact, o sea, en realidad, actually, you think that you are doing so well, but from my place of looking, from my point of view, he says, you are actually drowning in delusion. Drown. What is to drown? To sink. Yes. delusion. Delusion is deception. Delusion es engaño. Delusion is the opposite of illusion. Engaño. Yeah, but not is the opposite, because illusion is something that is not true also. Illusion is that the same as in Spanish, and delusion is engaño. Okay, so he says that when we are so identified with our personal self and trying to improve our personal self, and we have this sense of that in the future will be better, we actually think that we are close to freedom, but this is an illusion or a delusion. Okay. That is another word that what comes next, that is a synonym of delusion. All this is the mind's deception. A deception is a synonym of delusion. Okay, go on.
All this is the mind's deception. You cannot be free as a person. You can only be free from the person. If the sickness is strong, the medicine must be equally strong. We are not talking about simple changing clothes, but about forces that can oppress your mind and send it into hell.
Okay. Here, the last sentence is also very powerful, because it says that, and that is the answer of a question that we usually ask ourselves. That is, why mine is so strong? Why I cannot? We have the sensation that the mind that sometimes we are defeated by the mind, and that mind comes and has a power, that is very powerful. But that's why, because he says, if the sickness is strong, the medicine must be equally strong. And this is a phrase that the previous one, when he says, you cannot be free as a person. You can only be free from the person. Okay, and the last one that says, we are not talking about simply changing clothes. It is not something light, but about forces, that is the force of the mind, that can oppress your mind and send it to hell. So, let's go on. Vito, do you want to read the next paragraph?
Yes. When I speak like this, people may react and take offense, but it is actually a chance of resurrection into eternal life. If your heart stops, sweet words are not going to get it beaten again. You need a powerful shock. Sometimes it is not enjoyed, and I know how it is felt. But some delusions have to be crushed immediately, directly, and without compassion, which incidentally is true compassion. If you do it slowly, you end up protecting the very thing that is suffocating your being. If you're merely prune at your travels, you will end up tit for tatting with me. I am not here. Okay.
Yes, here we stop a bit, because so to take a look at these words that are a bit difficult. And if you merely prune at your travels, what is to prune at your travel? And you will end up tit-for-tatting with me. What is the meaning of this expression? To prune, what is the literal meaning of prune? Let's see what is. The literal meaning of prune is to cut off branches or leaves from a plant to help it grow better. Podar sería. Entonces, to prune as your travel es como, what is? Means to only to addressing your problems in a superficial way. Es como que si los tomamos de manera muy liviana o como que sí.
No lo cortamos de raíz.
Exacto. It is the opposite of cortarlos de raíz. Instead of dealing with the root cause, it says here. And what is, él dice, if you merely if you merely address your problems in a superficial way, you will end up tit-for-tatting with me. What is tit-for-tatting? It comes from the expression tit-for-tat, which means an action done in return for another, especially as a retaliation of or revenge. It is the typical way of acting when you feel attacked and you respond and you react. Action, reaction. Es cuando uno empieza, ¿vieron? In Spanish we say cuando se defiende atacando. While we have an aggressive attitude towards the other, and you start acting, reacting with the other. That is tit for tat, a tit for tat action. Okay, so now we can, so that it's it says here, if you merely prune at your troubles, you will end up tit for tatting with me. Uno, cuando no va a la raíz, se siente atacado, entonces es como que empieza a actuar de esta forma, a preguntar y a reaccionar, porque se siente atacado, tal cual. I am not here, but what he goes on explaining this, and what he says.
I am not here to give opinions or exchange concepts. I speak with the authority of my own experience, which is not personal, and because it is not personal, it has authority. The one...
What means this? What does this mean? That he's not talking in a personal way. He's talking from a highest. I am talking, this is, I speak with the authority of my own experience. It's his experience, but it is not personal. It comes from the highest. That's why it has authority. Okay.
I continue?
Yes.
The one who is personal has no authority for me. They cannot challenge what I'm speaking. They can resist it, but they cannot challenge it authentically because the ground that they stand on is quicksand.
Okay. What is quicksand?
Arena movediza.
Yes. So this is another metaphor that here, what it is meant by the ground they stand on is quicksand. It is not reliable. It is not stable. It is not unsteady and reliable foundation. It has not, it is not firm. It is not
Base.
base, yes. Is used to describe the unsteady and reliable foundation of someone who is identified with the ego or personal identity. And says, the comparison here, I like it. It says, just like standing on actual quicksand, where any movement causes you to think rather than gain stability. That's what happens when we are in quicksand. The beliefs or arguments based on ego or illusion are unstable and weak. Eso pasa cuando nos queremos justificar, digamos, y los fundamentos, that's why you know that we say, oh, at one point, we recognize and we know that there are all excuses, that they have, in English, they have a phrase that they use a lot, that they say, no more excuses, no more excuses. Basta, ¿viste? Cuando decimos basta de poner excusas. No more excuses. So, and we are very used to do this, that we always have excuses to not to do things, or not to change, or not to take action. And sometimes they are very subtle. That es muy sutil. That's why Mooji said that the ego is very subtle. Esas excusas por ahí, porque nosotros las sentimos, that we feel that they are true, and they are not quicksand, that they are reliable. But he says, no way. Okay, let's go back to the text. So here, what happens? Mariel, are you there, and do you want to go on with the reading?
Yes.
Okay, because
Okay.
we don't see you, but if you are there, it's okay.
I am here. I am here.
Okay, well, go
Okay.
on, please.
A ver, ya está. Ahora
After quicksand. Ahí
Yes.
está. Here you are. Hello,
No me di
Mariel.
cuenta. When we are identified with the ego, we have no power. We have deluded power, aggression perhaps, but never the power of God. People need to wake up and climb out of the strangling hole of egoic identity, to re-embrace the power of living God within themselves.
Let's stop a bit here. Let's stop. People
Yes.
need to wake up and climb out of the strangling hole of egoic identity. What is strangling hole? Strangling, to strangle is like this, estrangular. To re-embrace the power of the living God within themselves. Re-embrace. What is to embrace? To hug. Abrazar, to re-embrace. To re-embrace is what? To recognize that the presence of God that is within us. It is very powerful and very beautiful, this phrase. Okay. Let's go on, Mariel.
Okay. Rise up into a life of choice and peace. Leave behind sorrow, vain investments, and delusions. So I don't come lightly. I come with love, but I don't always come with a bouquet of flowers. I come with a sword, a loving and living sword. People don't see or appreciate a loving sword until their head fall off. Such is the power of truth. Beautiful.
Oh. Okay. Yes. And what is the head that has to fall off? The head of the ego. That is. And he's so right, and he's so correct with these words that sometimes we need, como nos decían cuando éramos chicos, el látigo, necesitamos como the sword, because if it is that, in fact, as he says, it is a loving sword.
This is different. It's loving sword.
Yes.
Kill, but with love.
That is because if we is the form is the only way for us to make no more excuses, because that is the how ego works. He says that sometimes ego is very subtle. That we find he always finds ways of survive. And the other day I was listening to a satsang, and that's why he tells us to focus just on only one thing and stick to it. Because what happens? When we have some time in this spiritual path, with the ego starts to what he does. We start to this phrase of to prune to our troubles. It's the same as when we start to prune over spirituality. Es como que we don't address things profoundly and deeply. And the way of evolving in spirituality is not to go from one theme to another, is to go deeper in only one thing. But to go, instead of going deeper, we choose to read a lot of text, so as not to address. And what is the way of addressing things deeper what is the way of going deeper and more profound? In meditation, or in contemplation. Now we are going to, that every Saturday we end with a meditation. The one I choose for today is a meditation or a contemplation from Mooji, and it's called the greatest or the highest gift. We are going to read the transcription now. And what is the function of this, of meditation or of contemplation? Why are they so important? Because it's there where we recognize what we really are. Porque sentimos what we feel in meditation, that we are much greater than this personal self, and we forget about all our problems or there is something that is very, very powerful what is this peace and this love we feel in meditation? Is our essence, is what we are, and is the power of God. So in this text, he tells us to invest in this, not in other things. And that's why he says, first be, and then do everything you have to do. If we know who we are, our life changes. What do you feel? I am talking a lot. I want you to talk a bit and to express what are your feelings about this. What do you think?
I feel the silence is the response more profound. I feel.
What do you mean?
Because in the silence is what it is. In the silence.
Yes.
On silence. Because sometimes I don't feel response something. But silence, only silence. Understand? Yes?
Yes. That silence speaks. As Papaji says. And we always say that another thing, that God speaks in silence. And when we are in meditation, we find all the response or the answers to all our questions. That questions that troubles us so much. We find that's why we feel that there are no problems. Why? Because you know that there is a moment when we truly know what we have to do. And this comes in meditation. But that is the power of meditation, the power of intuition, the voice of God, that we have to make this space instead of, but what we do every day. That's why we feel so troubled, because instead of paying attention and instead of devoting time to this, we engage with our mind and we start to think, and this is a no ending a no ending activity.
Cari,
Yes.
which is the difference between meditation and contemplation?
Here contemplation has to do, it's a term that Mooji uses. And you know that the people of Yogananda and SRF, they say meditation. Because Mooji says that you only have to contemplate is the same as observing. So he says you only have to sit. There are two different ways of doing the same, and you choose the one who fits you most, digamos. O sea, uno elige el que más le llega, o puede, a veces vieron que sometimes we feel more like doing like this or like this. That's why, for me, both of them are powerful.
Yogananda said the difference is contemplation is like a concentration, and meditation is a way to reach God. So it's
Yes.
it's different, because one is when you stay calm, and the other is a way to arrive to God, to himself. So this is a different.
I have another question.
Yes.
Pablo, which is SFR? It's so simple, but I don't know.
Self-Realization
Yes,
Fellowship is the organization that was found by Paramahansa Yogananda when he go to America.
when he went, yes, and it has two names, but it's the same. One name is in India, they call it Satsanga, something, Yogoda Satsanga, algo así.
Yogoda organization.
Yes, that it was founded in 19 previously to of his going to America, but they are the same. They are made up by the followers of Yogananda. In America, it is called Self-Realization Fellowship, and it is the institution that of all the monks we see in the videos. That they have an orange gong. Okay.
Yes. Thank you.
And coming back to your previous question, Mooji says that contemplation has to do with observing, with sitting and observing our thoughts. And why this simple activity is so powerful? Because by observing our thoughts, instead of rejecting them, we are aware that we are not our thoughts. And when we do this, instead of focusing on or engaging with what our thoughts tells us, we focus on our heart. What happens? We have the same result. We begin to feel this peace, this space. And meditation, they say, the union with God. The other day when we did the meditation, but that the monk was telling us to do, que ellos, como hace Pablo cuando meditamos a la mañana, que es todo como un proceso previo, tiene eso de meditar, que es concentrarse en la respiración. Bueno, hay distintas formas, ¿no? Pero, vieron que dice, primero disponer como nuestro cuerpo para que no haya interferencias, digamos, y saquemos la atención del cuerpo y la llevemos, quede todo como limpio, como para que no haya interferencias entre nosotros y Dios. Entonces, son como distintos caminos, pero llevan a lo mismo, digamos. Y uno elige el que más, the one that fits you most. Okay, and here now we are going to read the transcription of the contemplation we are going to do next. It's useful because he explains the difference between a prayer and a contemplation, because there are two ways of be close to God. Tenemos dos formas de llegar a Dios, y él dice, ¿cuál es la mejor? ¿Rezar o meditar o contemplar? Y él dice, both of them are powerful, because when you pray, he says, that contemplation or meditation are better because they help us to recognize the presence of God within us. And it is more, it's easier to recognize that we and God are one, our unity. And that when you pray, you are praying to someone that is separate from you. Como que la oración, cuando nosotros rezar, eso de rezar, parece que le estamos rezando a alguien que es diferente de nosotros. Pero que también nos ayuda. A veces, why? Because we feel what? We feel protected, we feel safe when we pray. Entonces él nos enseña, él dice, si querés rezar en lugar de meditar, podés hacerlo de esta forma. And let's see what he says. Let's see the text. And then we'll do the contemplation. Here I have the text. It is called, My Highest Gift to You Today. Well, one of you, if you want, you can read it. Start reading it. Who wants to start, my friends?
Go.
Okay.
My highest gift to you today. My dear Sangha, some of you may wonder, which is the best path for me? Which is the best path for me? ¿Hay dos puntos ahí?
Sí, what is the best
okay.
path for me? Yes.
What is the best path for me? Prayer or inquire contemplation? Both are good. It is feel more appealing to you in pray. Then podés, you can more big the screen.
A bit more more
I read, but
a ver, espera. Yes, the letter is a bit
grande o gigante, José.
large print.
New words.
A ver, espera, vamos a ponerle más cosas porque no encuentro el zoom que por acá debe estar. Pero vamos a hacerla más grande la letra y chao. A ver.
No worry. I try.
Ahí está. Here, you see it a bit more.
Okay.
So, we were saying, both are good. If it feels more appealing to you.
Appealing, yes. It is feel more appealing to you in prayer, then I tell you the best prayer. The best prayer is to say to God, Lord.
Let's stop a bit. What is, if it feels more appealing to you in prayer, then I'll tell you the best prayer. O sea, si para vos sentís que para vos es mejor rezar, appealing, something that is appealing, something that you feel is more attractive to you, that you want more. Appealing. Okay. I'll tell you the best prayer. Ahí nos da una oración. ¿Cómo podemos rezar? And how is the best prayer? Is what?
Lord, I struggle to do things and to overcome on my own. Please, I offer myself to you so that you free me of ego and merge me in you.
I struggle to do things and overcome on my own. What is to struggle? To fight.
Fight.
Cuando peleamos con las cosas. To struggle, to fight. And to overcome on my own. Como que queremos hacer siempre las cosas y superarlas, o sea, nosotros solos, on my own. To overcome. To overcome es superar, trascender. Please, I offer myself to you so that you, and this, what is to try to do things on our own, in our
Por nuestra
personal
cuenta.
way.
Mhm.
What you say?
Por nuestra
Por nuestra
cuenta,
cuenta.
sí, a
Yes,
nuestro modo.
on our, a nuestro modo sería, de nuestro modo personal.
Personal.
That's why he says, I offer myself to you so that you free me of my ego and merge me in you. This is the highest prayer. If we want to pray, and he goes on saying what?
Just free me from ego, help me, and turn my face toward you. I offer everything that I can see that is not in service to the truth. I consciously, devotedly, but is in the basket of God.
Put it
And I
in
do
the basket
put
of
it in
God.
the bucket of God. And I do this to the best of my capacity.
We have to put everything in, offer all to him, and put all in the basket of God. And well,
But above all things, I seek your
yes,
mercy and grace, and I am determined for this. Please rid me of this ego, help me to overcome this ego, and absorbing me in you forever and ever.
Okay. Let's stop a bit at this. And I'm determined for this. This, you know that he always says that the most important thing is our intention. That sometimes we feel that we can't do it, but we have to, in this a moment when we feel that we are not able to, or that we feel that life is so hard or so difficult, we can offer everything to him, and that our intention is very important. O sea, no tenemos que sentir que no podemos. Si no podemos ofrecerle eso, y que what is important? Our intention. Nuestra intención es importante. That is why he says, I am determined for this. To have a true intention, it is to be determined. And please rid me of this ego. Rid me is to get me free of this ego. Sacame este ego. Liberate me. Free me. Free me. It's a synonym. Rid me of this ego. Okay. Mariel, do you want to go on? Yes, you're muted.
Sí. That is the greatest prayer. And keep at it. Remind yourself you don't have to remind God. Remind yourself this is still true for you. This is really what is you, this peace desire.
This is really what is your deepest desire.
Deepest
Yes,
desire.
to keep
Yes.
to your intention. That,
Yes.
como que eso es lo más importante. Remind yourself that this is still true for you, because we always want to find or to have the solution right now. It is important just to offer up, to offer all our problems, our troubles, our sorrow, our sadness sometimes, this all that is not what we truly are. And es muy fácil darnos cuenta porque nosotros sabemos cómo nos sentimos. Entonces, at these moments, we only have to offer all to him. This is the greatest prayer, he says. Okay. Go a bit more, Mariel.
I offer all this arrogance and ignorance and identity. I offer it in the basket of God. Please rid me of this ego identity and bring me home to you. This is the greatest prayer.
Okay, I want to stop a bit here. And I feel that I just want to say that sometimes we don't do this on purpose. O sea, muchas veces, to do something on purpose, what is? To have the intention of do something. Intentionally. To do something on purpose. O sea, no lo hacemos a propósito, a esto, de querer hacer las cosas a nuestra forma o a nuestro modo. Estamos como convencidos de que es la mejor forma de hacer las cosas. But you know that what happens? We feel that we are going against something. Cuando las cosas no fluyen y vos decís, me sale todo mal, ¿por qué no puedo? Si yo tengo la mejor, si yo lo hago con la mejor y las cosas me salen mal. O sea, me sale otra palabra decir, no, bueno. But no lo hacemos to do something on purpose. No lo hacemos a propósito. But it is intentionally, digamos. But we have to trust, and that sometimes we cannot see the solution, but that is when trust and faith appears, that we have to have faith in, and we don't have to feel bad for this. The other day, I saw a video in which that's why Mooji always says, keep at it, persist with it. Why? Because he says, it took me 6 years to assimilate when he went to India and he listened to his guru, who was Papaji. Then he said, it took me 6 years to assimilate and to grasp the truth. O sea que a él es algo de que uno tiene que ir como yendo cada vez más profundo en eso, y muchas veces con esa confianza de que no entendemos o no sabemos por qué nos está pasando lo que nos pasa, pero solamente creer que es para nuestro bien y que él sí sabe. We don't know, but he knows. Okay. And this is, up to now, he has explained one way, that is a prayer. Él explicó la forma de que lo podemos hacer mediante una oración, por ejemplo, esto. Y si no, the other way, what is? Let's, Pablo, do you want to read?
Okay. As far as following my guidance into beingness and self-inquiry, what is the best and the simple way? Continue to see that all things are arising, each moment in mind, through the senses, thought, your interaction with the Sangha and the world. All of this arises in the space of a deep silence which is impersonal. It's watched by this consciousness that is here with me. This peace in your heart. It is not personal. And to keep observing these things. Don't get involved in them. Don't get pulled to any story, but just continue to see with this detached observing.
This is the other way, that what we was talking about previously. Instead of praying, just keep observing and detaching, and you find that peace. It's another way of doing the same. And, well, Vito, do you want to go on?
Yes. Do not hold on to any identity about yourself while doing this, and you will see that as you persist, even though the mind way feel very, very seductive and is calling your attention and pulling you back into identity. Each time, pull back again into the neutral place of witnessing. The grip of this psychological identity will just drift away and be replaced by the purity of presence.
Okay, grip and hold are synonyms. That's why it says, don't hold on to any identity. No te aferres a nada. And después dice, the grip of this psychological identity. Es como que to grip something es como agarrarlo fuerte. Ese agarre que se nos pega. Entonces dice, will just the drip of psychological will just drift away. Se va a desvanecer, se va a ir. Solamente when we are observing, by observing what happens, and be replaced by the purity of presence. Okay. Let's go on.
This presence has always been with you. It is the heart of your being. It is always here, but most people miss it because we are so engaged and so much in the identity of the ego self. So this is
what
my
is the meaning of miss? Most miss here. Most people miss it. Yes. Or don't appreciate it. Don't see the importance of this, because you know that miss has another meaning also. When we say, I miss you, for example, te extraño, I miss you, I want to see you. I call you because I miss you. But here, to miss means has another meaning, to not to appreciate something. Perderse algo por don't giving it the importance it has. Okay. That's why it says most people that this presence, this sense of peace and joy it is at the heart of your being. And heart here it is not referring to the emotional heart, sino to the core, to the essence of your being. Es el centro. The heart here means this. And that's why it says most people miss it because we are so engaged and so much in the identity, ego self. So what happens? What he says. Go
So
on.
this is my clear instruction, and to persist with this. All you do is keep doing this, and God does the rest. You'll see that everything inside, all these confusion states, they just will not be able to touch you. All that remains is the pure self. Just keep quiet and watch your sins be washed away. The delusion of personhood and egohood washed away. The ego mind is so afraid of this practice because of the power of it.
Oh, well. Here.
Eso para José.
Well, let's see the last one. A ver, espera que le voy a poner más. Here. Let's read the last part and then we'll do it.
This is the highest, I tell you, because it gets rid of separation from the Lord. It merges you into universal consciousness.
Merges. Here,
in
we have
universal
the
consciousness. Again, merge you.
It merges you.
Into universal consciousness. Your greatest discovery, your highest joy and wisdom doesn't even belong to you. It just is.
It just
is. There are the two guidance that I offer you, but
these are the two guidance I offer you. The prayer or the contemplation. You choose.
But of the two, the higher is to the established in recognition of the grace and the self that is always here. This is the presence of God inside every living being. Wake up to that consciousness. Wake up to that consciousness presence and be one with it. It has no arrogance. It has no pride. It is clear being. It is silence and it is everlasting life. It is the highest.
Sinless, because it comes from sin. What is a sin? Un pecado. It is sinless and it is everlasting life.
These two I offer.
Yes.
To you as the ultimate guidance.
Ultimate guidance. The most important guidance. Ultimate means the most important.
Bless you.
Ultimate, it is not synonym of último. No quiere decir último, quiere decir most important. The key guidance. Las más importantes. Eso quiere decir.
Bless you all in the hearing of this. Bless you greater in the exercisings in the practice of this. God bless you.
Exercising.
Exercising.
Here it says, bless you all in the hearing of this. Bless you greater
Bless you.
in the exercising and the practice of it. Entonces, ¿qué quiere decir esto? Es hermosa esta frase, porque él dice, yo los bendigo por escuchar esto, pero no solo por escucharlo, sino para que lo pongan en práctica. Entonces, no solo escúchenlo, sino llévenlo a la práctica, que es lo que vamos a hacer ahora. What we are going to do now. God bless you. Amen. Om. Okay, my friends. Let's do the contemplation now. We are going to hear to his voice and put it into practice. Okay. Let me share. Stop sharing. Ahí. No sé qué pasó. Esperen un poquito. Ahí está.
My dear Sangha, some of you may wonder which is the best path for me, prayer or inquiry, contemplation. Which one? Well, I say both is good. If it feels more appealing to you in prayer, then I'll tell you the best prayer. The best prayer is to say to God, Lord, I struggle to do things and to overcome on my own. Please, I offer myself to you so that you free me of ego and merge me in you. Just free me from ego, help me. I turn my face towards you. I put everything that I can see and that is not in service to the truth. I consciously, devotedly put it in the basket, in your basket of God. And I'll do this to the best of my capacity. But above all things, I seek your mercy and grace, and I am determined for this. Please, rid me of this ego, to overcome this ego, and to absorb me in you forever and ever. That is the greatest prayer. And keep at it. Remind yourself, you don't have to remind God, remind yourself this is still true for you. This is really what is your deepest desire, having come to see how unruly and inconsistent and sinful the ego identity is, how selfish and confused and arrogant this ego is, the best thing is this prayer. I offer all this arrogance and ignorance and identity. I offer it in the basket of God. Please rid me of this ego identity and bring me home to you. That is the greatest prayer. As far as following my guidance into beingness and self-inquiry, what is the best and the simple way? Continue to see that all things arising each moment, each day, in the mind, through the senses, through your interactions with the Sangha and the world, that all of this arises in the space of a deep silence, which is impersonal. It is watched by this consciousness that is here with me, this peace in your heart. It is not personal. And to keep observing these things, don't get involved in them, don't get pulled into any story, but just continue to see with this detached observing. Do not hold on to any identity about yourself while doing this. And you will see that as you persist, even though the mind may feel very, very, very much seductive and calling your attention and pulling you back into identity, each time pull back again into the neutral place of witnessing. And the grip of this psychological identity will just drift away and will be replaced by this purity of presence. And this presence has always been with you. It is the heart of your being. It is always here. But most people miss it because we are so engaged and so much in the identity of the ego self. So this is my clear instruction to persist with this. And now many of you in the Sangha field, you have taken this guidance and you're simply watching, and all the work, all you do is keep doing this, and God does the rest. You'll see everything inside, all these confusion states, they just will not be able to touch you. All that remains is the pure self. And even any feelingness, I've done this and now I know what I am, this is arrogance, all mind. Just keep quiet and watch your sins be washed away. The delusion of personhood and egohood washed away. The ego mind is so afraid of this practice because of the power of it. And this is the highest, I will tell you, because it gets rid of separation from the Lord. It merges you into universal consciousness, your greatest discovery, your highest joy and wisdom. Doesn't even belong to you. It just is. This is the two guidances that I offer you. But of the two, the higher is to be established to recognize the grace and the self that is always here. This is the presence of God inside every living being. To wake up to that conscious presence and be one with it. It has no arrogance, has no pride. It is clear being. It is sinless, and it is everlasting. everlasting life. It is the highest. It is the highest. It is the highest. This too I offer to you as the ultimate guidance. Follow them for now. And at some point, those among you who will go to the highest, you will never leave my heart's attention. Bless you all in the hearing of this. Bless you greater in the exercising and the practice of this. God bless you. Amen. Om.
my friends. It's difficult to break the silence. But, well, thank you. And let's do it. In whatever way we choose. In a prayer or, well, or just being here and observing. But let's invest our time in this. And always remember that we always has the option of, we always can do something, and it is offering all to him. And he will do the rest. Okay. God does the rest, he says. Okay. Well, see you, my friends. Enjoy your weekend from here in your heart. Just a few minutes and your day changes. Let's live our Saturday in peace and enjoy. And spread it to your environment, to your family, to your friends, to wherever you meet. Okay. Well, see you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.